Good afternoon. Merry Christmas. We're so excited here at MPowered Business about the Christmas season. We celebrated with our team last week and we had a fantastic experience. And I hope that you're having a wonderful Merry Christmas. We want to talk today about emotional intelligence for empowered businesses. And I don't know if you have become a Brene Brown fangirl yet. I have become a Brene Brown fangirl. I'm not a big fan of a lot of the genre that people would call motivational speakers or inspirational speakers. A lot of that seems a little cookie cutter to me, but I'm telling you, Brene Brown is fantastic. I love her work. I love the books. Daring Greatly is incredible. I wish I had read it when I was in my 20s. That didn't exist yet, but I wish I had access to it. I think it would have helped me be a better wife, a better mom, a better boss, a better worker. It's a great book. It's not my favorite. My top book is always scripture, but that one is a great book. And she is an incredible, insightful author, and it's based on her studies and data. It's very data driven. I'm very pragmatic, so I do appreciate the data driven basis of it. But this book, Atlas of the Heart, has quickly become my favorite book that I've read in 2023. In fact, I've listened to it on audio 3 times. I've read through it more than once. I wouldn't say completely twice, but I've read through it once and I've gone back through portions of it. And I find it very, very powerful. And I appreciate her kind of education-based approach to emotional intelligence. What we know about emotional intelligence is that it is the key factor in success, particularly in business, but in life as a rule. You're going to have a lot of academic intelligence. You can have a high IQ, but you can still not be successful. But people who have emotional intelligence can take their success to a greater level. And it's this idea of understanding your own emotions, being able to understand the emotions and the impact of emotions of other people. And we all would agree, I mean, it's been a buzzword for a while, and we've all kind of gotten on board of how important emotional intelligence is. But to define it, to understand it, and to create more emotional intelligence seems a little bit like an unknown. And so what Brene Brown does is she basically says, if emotional intelligence is so important, how do we become more emotionally intelligent? And based on some studies, again, that she did, that most people don't have a solid understanding of their own emotions. We tend to stick with kind of the core 4, right? We're happy, mad, sad, or happy, mad, sad, or bored. And if you ask people to log, which is what they did in their survey, they ask people to log their emotions, they stick with kind of just 3 or 4 emotions. That's all they can even identify them as. And so until we can identify emotions, we certainly can't learn more about how to understand them. And so she takes the emotions and she goes through them. So if you look just at the book from that aspect, educating you more about emotions, helping you be able to better identify your own emotions, it's a great book. And so she goes through them, she groups the emotions together as emotions that are kind of the places we go to. Again, this is the Atlas of the Heart, so it's a map-based kind of allegory. Places we go when things are uncertain, and she puts together stress, overwhelm, anxiety, worry, avoidance, excitement, dread, fear, vulnerability. Those places we go when we're uncertain. Places we go when we compare, comparison, admiration, reverence, envy, jealousy, resentment. Freud and Schadenfreude, can't even say that one right. But these are the places we go. So these are the emotions we feel when we're comparing. But she talks about the differences between those emotions, the nuances. What's the difference between envy and jealousy? And there's a significant difference. And so until we can say what I'm feeling is envy, as opposed to what I'm feeling is jealousy, then we can't really even understand our emotion, let alone process it well. And so this is a great example, the difference between envy and jealousy. We oftentimes say things like, and she uses this example in her book, we'll say, oh gosh, your shoes are so cute, I'm jealous. Or, oh, I'm so glad you have Fridays off, I'm feeling a little jealous. And we think that is a way of saying, I think that's cool, you're gonna do, wish I could do it too, but that's not what jealousy really is. That's really envy, but we think envy has a negative connotation to it, so we don't say that. But really, the more negative of the two emotions is jealousy. Jealousy is you have something I want that only one of us can have. Jealousy, like a relationship. When someone is showing their attention to somebody else, that's when I feel jealous. That means I want that attention. I don't want you doing it to somebody else. Envy means you have something I'd like to have also. Someone might have a great job, and I'm envious of the freedom and the flexibility they have in that job. I don't necessarily want the job, but I'm envious of what that job is providing to them. It doesn't mean I want to take it away from them, but we use envy as a more negative emotion than jealousy. So she goes through and she just looks at the differences and helps us understand those. But she also talks about the impact those emotions have on us, the impact they have on other people, and how we can better respond to them. And that's why I love this book. So it really does help us build emotional intelligence. It defines emotions. It talks about the science behind those emotions. She goes, her chapter 3 is places we go when things don't go as planned, boredom, disappointment, expectations, regret, discouragement, resignation, frustration. And then the next one is places we go when it's beyond us. Awe, when something's bigger than we can understand. Awe, wonder, confusion, curiosity, interest, and surprise. And then she places we go when things aren't what they seem. Amusement, bittersweetness, nostalgia, cognitive dissonance, paradox, irony, and sarcasm. We're going to come back to this chapter 5 because we'll park a little bit today. And then places we go when we're hurting, anguish, hopelessness, despair, sadness, grief. Places we go with others, compassion, pity, empathy, sympathy, boundaries, comparative suffering. So you can see they're grouped in likenesses, but then she goes through and she defines the differences. So if you've not had a chance, and that's just the first 7, there are 13 or 14 chapters in here. And so it helps you, first of all, get clarity on what the emotions are, get clarity on understanding those emotions myself, and how to better handle those emotions. But emotional intelligence goes to the next level. That's when I can identify emotions in other people. I can process my reaction to them better, even help them process that. And that's where it becomes really valuable for leaders in businesses. And so we're going to park a little bit in this, when we talked about chapter 5, places we go when things aren't what they seem, because that's a lot of the truth is about business is that things are rarely what they seem on the surface. Our customers' reaction to us is rarely what we've just experienced with them. It's flavored by what they experienced before they walked in the door. It's flavored by their last interaction with us or a similar business. And so when things aren't what they seem, that seems to be the place that I camp in business. And so I want to talk about that a little bit because I think that as business owners and managers, we have to recognize that a lot of what we experience is not just what we see on the surface. And so these emotions that follow that we go through and helping to define those and know the difference. So again, amusement, it's kind of interesting when I get a reaction from somebody that isn't what I would have expected. And then you get to the heart of it and you find out that what you thought they were saying is totally different than what they were meaning to express. That can be amusement. It can be cognitive dissonance. It can be, wait a minute, I thought what we just had was a great experience and you're responding negatively. So how do we deal with that? And I think for managers, this is a big thing. Even in hiring, we deal with this. We hire a lot of times, what we talk to people about all the time is one of the biggest mistakes we make in hiring is we hire people that we connect well with. We feel a connection with them. They make us feel comfortable. And so we hire them and we think they're going to be a great employee. And then it works out that they're not. And so we were like, gosh, I don't understand. They seem like such a good fit, but what they felt like a fit to was me. And what I need them to be a fit to is the job. And so even for the employee, there can be cognitive dissonance. They came in to the interview and it felt like a great fit because they connected well with me. We were a good fit for each other. But then they get into the job and they think, well, this wasn't at all what I thought it was. And it's because I've not introduced them well to the job. We didn't make sure that fit was there. And so cognitive dissonance, when something is not what we expect it to be, it can lead to bitterness, right? Or a bittersweetness even. And then the irony, paradox, sarcasm, she goes through each of those emotions that we can feel. those experiences that we can have based on that. And so I find this to be an incredible book. So what my team and I are doing is we are going to read this book together in the new year. They're actually reading through it now. We bought them, and I do love this one. This is almost a coffee table version of it because it's got some great graphics and illustrations that you don't get on the Kindle edition, which was what I read the first time. And you surely don't get on the audio edition. And we're going to read through this, and we're going to start working to identify emotions more clearly in ourselves, but also as a team, so that when we come in and I say, hey, how's it going? We have a pat response. One of my staff members has a pat response, and she's gonna laugh when she hears this. I say, how's it going? And she said, oh, it's going. I always find myself a little bit of a loss. That's where I have that little bit of cognitive dissonance, right? Because it's not quite what I know. Because if I say it's going, that means it's going, but it maybe I'm having progress, but it's not what I want. But for her, it's a good thing. And so it's about defining those. So we're going to work on things like when you say, how's it going? That they say, I'm having a productive day. I'm feeling happy today. I'm feeling nostalgic today. We're going to try to come up with some language that get us away from happy. So that's one of our core four, right? Get us away from happy, sad, mad, or bored, and into I'm feeling a little nostalgic today, or I'm missing when the team was 4 people instead of 7, or I'm feeling excited because I see this growth. We're going to start trying to do that as a team and improve our skills that way. But I think this book has some real value. If you haven't read Daring Greatly, though, I would say start with Daring Greatly and then come into this one. But the message for today is we know emotional intelligence is key to our success and our quality of life. And so this is a great book to help you learn to define those emotions, gain some intelligence, and then just try to start using those. So we want to invite you as you go into this season to read this book with us, Atlas of the Heart by Brene Brown. It's a great read. It's a great listen. You can get it on audio, you can get it on Kindle, but you can also get this great coffee table version of it. And read this with us as we go into the new year, and let's start talking intelligently about our emotions, but let's also start applying it and learning how we can better work together and make those be helpful to our colleagues, to our team, help us build our team and become better communicators and more effective in our jobs. So the emotion that I'm feeling today is I'm feeling pretty merry. It's a Merry Christmas. I'm feeling a lot of satisfaction in my job here and in my role, and I hope that you are too. If we can be helpful to you, give us a call. We love working with businesses and helping them become empowered. Y'all have a Merry Christmas.